Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Part 3 Advaitam. Advaitam or whatever, that's all Ambals. Water's fulfillment is the ocean. Tumbler, utensil, pot, tank, well, lake, river. The series goes on, becoming bigger till ending up as the ocean. Similarly, for awareness and blissfulness, the ocean is Ambal or Parashakti. We have some knowledge, some love. Animals have less of these things. There are some greats among us human beings with much greater awareness, jnana, and benevolence. Where all these are at the highest magnitude is God, Swami, or Parashakti. It is the all knowing knowledge. Not only does it know, but the totality of all the knowledge and knowers too. There is nothing apart to know it, to make the distinction between knower, known, and knowledge. If there can be something other than it, then it's incomplete. Even if there is a small bit of something else, then its purnatvam cannot be. If there is some deficiency, it would mean that it is incomplete. Is it not so? All this analysis means that there can never be another thing or stuff or material or entity or whatever that can know or be other than the Paramatma. There is no second and there can be no second. Then all these life forms, so many lakhs, millions, crores of them, all the germs, microbes, viruses, insects, worms, slithers, birds, fishes, animals, particles, antiparticles and non-particles, planets, suns, stars, galaxies and Milky Ways. What is all this? All this is a huge make-believe drama of Maya, a facade of enormous bluff. You call the bluff and the totality of it, all will remain in all in splendor as the only worthwhile Arivu of whom Tayamavar Swami says, Chitta Misai Kudikonda Arivana Devame, meaning in Tamil that all knowing deity which has taken residence in my Chittam, that is inner awareness. Since it is complete, there is nothing else required to be known by it. It is such a knowledge that knows itself. Thus, to take yourself, the Jivatma, to that Parama Atma and dissolve oneself secondlessly is the real fulfillment. Even a small quantity of otherness means a bit of deficiency, incompleteness, apurnatvam. Even what is seemingly something else is also that only. That is all. All is that only. Idam sarvam purusham iva, says the Veda. This total contentness is Advaitam. Upanishads talk about how this incomplete Jivatma becomes total by dissolving its separateness and thereby becoming or realizing its totality, completeness and purnatvam. What the Upanishads say, Sri Shankara Bhagavad-pada Acharya has elaborated with many examples, explanations, evidences and proofs. Even if we do a solely intellectual analysis of what he has said, we cannot but agree. Even science today says that there are no more separate elements. Everything is energy. Even matter does not matter. That's also energy only. Thus, science also has arrived at Advaitam. Okay, everything is one only. Intellectually we agree, but this is a very big but. How to bring this philosophy into practice? In the world of interactions, exchanges, responses of give and take, all the differences are so unavoidable, insurmountable, and not ignorable. It is comparison and contrast which seems to be the very essence of life in all sorts of selections and competitions. Variety seems to be the very spice of life. In every action, we have to discard some and add some. If you do not see the differences, you will not only miss out on the fun, but also spoil everything. The whole thing is a matter of selection, whether it is for education or employment, or as life partner, or as an elected representative. The value of a pearl or gem increases with selection. Subtle nuances in expression go to enhance the beauty of it. Small changes in the color combinations add to the aesthetics of art. Some notes have to be dropped in the ascendant arohana, and some notes may have to be added in the descendant avarohana in ragas in music as a master touch. What do we understand from this? As long as there is some work to be done, there is no meaning in talking of Advaitam. Till there is work to be done, we have to identify and recognize the differences. Even when we do so, it is prudent to keep in the background of one's mind the following. In essence, everything is the same. That includes our own selves too. By sanctifying one's own mind and vision, see and know everything to be one and the same. However much one may be aware of the differences when it comes to one's relations with others, never give in to hate. Inwardly have the same unconditional love towards all. This is the advice by all the great saints of the past who had realized the self. When it comes to work, even thinking is work only. To think is the job of the mind. The mind goes on thinking without even a second's break. Till this is happening, there is work. Advaitam cannot be there. The moment there is thinking, there is an entity or thing that thinks and an entity or thing that's thought about. That is Dvaitam. Thinking has to come to a standstill. Thought process have to cease. Then only Advaita Anubhava can be experienced. But what to do and how can we help it? Whatever mighty effort one may undertake, this mind keeps running helter skelter. Its attention is completely on noticing the differences, expanding on it, cubby holing like a postman does. To stop outer work and involvement, to stop the mind's oscillations, to become an embodiment of love, these things are all easily said than done. What can we do about these things? We can only do what we can. It is okay that we have mentally accepted that Advaitam can only be the backdrop. Let it be. That conviction itself will give a fractional peace and quietude. In all this endless bustle of thoughts and running about, there will be some minuscule clarity and shantam. But this filmy alpa, minuscule shanti, does not give satisfaction. Every time one experiences this partial peace, the mind itself wonders as to why we cannot be entitled to more of it. We are neither able to shut up the mind nor able to give up the worldly confabulations. To become an embodiment of love does not seem to be within our capability. Why only the majority of us, 99.99999% of us, are sailing in this self same boat of dilemma of wanting something and being something else? Till total inertia of Advaitam is attained or realized, we have to keep doing something, is it not so? So let us do something that is easily possible by this mind. Are we not experiencing the world as different from us? When we look at the order, unity in diversity and discipline in this universe, we can see that there is some super intelligence, capability, knowledge that is creating and maintaining all this. We do not want discussion now on how all this creation and maintaining is all Maya. There is no gain saying that Maya is unreal and all that. There is a superpower that is running all this mighty show. It is different from us. We are of limited capabilities. limited power, and limited knowledge. What is the meaning of saying, let it be so? It is so, let us pack all our understanding of Advaita Anubhava in a parcel and put it in the loft or attic. Now is not the time for consideration or discussion about it, about that superpower. Knowledge as the only thing to be known. Let us stop at the level in which we are aware that while it is simply beyond our limited powers of comprehension and understanding, and that though being different, it is capable of knowing every single thing about us from the smallest living organisms to the fly and ant to elephant and whale, it has been given certain wherewithal capabilities, environment, habitat, food and protection for birth, sustenance, growth and procreation of its species. If it, that is the thing we are talking about, can and does all this, then it must have the ability to know all our problems too. It is not only an ocean of knowledge, but also an ocean of kindness and benefaction. If each one of us are capable of love and affection, hasn't all that come from the same source? So, it has to be an ocean of kindness. Let us tell it ocean of kindness and pray to it. Oh, instead of being the totality of contentness, I am so short of anything and everything. You make me complete. Let us keep at this prayer till that Parashakti or Paramatma sanctions us the Advaita Anugraham. Even such prayer is only secondary. Do that Jnana Samudram, to that Jnana Samudram, which knows our deficiencies too. Yes, there is no need to make such prayers saying, give me Advaitam, give me Jnanam, give me fulfillment, and give me contentment. There is no need for such begging. It is enough to happily keep singing the praise of the Lord. There is the God who is not perennially crying and cribbing like us. He is clear, incarnate, and an ocean of karuna, to think of whom gives us some solace. Just let us think of that karuna sagara and be happy. We do not have to keep telling him or her, give me this, give me that, and so on. Let him give whatever, and that is acceptable. Now, there are his orders like Vedas, as per which we have our duties to perform. Let us happily do those duties. Yes, all duties are work, karma only. Karma and duties and bhakti are all in a state of Dvaitam only. Does not matter. Let us do all that with the clarity that we are doing nothing untoward but as required only by his orders. In the mind not coming under control. Is the mind not coming under control? Doesn't matter either. Instead of thinking of odds and sorts of unnecessary things, let us think of the ineffable love of that ocean of kindness. Like this, let us carry on doing purposeless devotion and complaintless duties. That itself will give us contentness. If there is a final stage of complete, total contentness, which is also mindlessness, let it be. As of now, that stage does not seem to be within our reach. Why should we cry for that now? We seem to have many deficiencies already. This cry is another which we need not nurse. Let us simply continue in this stage itself with our wholesome duties, devotional activities of Veda Karma Anushtanam, Bhakti, etc., and offer them a Ishvara Arpanam with love and happiness in our hearts. Thus we can avoid carping, complaining, and cribbing. Thus, let us do all our actions happily without a demand or complaint and build up our devotion fully to such an extent that God has to think. It is enough of leaving this devotee to himself, let us dissolve him unto ourselves and grant us the Advaita Anubhava. That is his job and only his job. There is nothing for us to do there. There is no meaning in our breaking our head in a matter of no concern to us. It is his entirely. For the present, we are seemingly different. This is also his will only. Is it not so? We did not decide to be a separate jiva like this. He is our creator. He has given us this feeling of separation. It is his big drama wherein he is different from us and we are different from him. Let it be so. Even in these circumstances, the only thing we can do about it is to think of him as the ocean of love and melt ourselves in devotion happily. That is enough. It is humanly impossible even to comprehend, let alone understand and express in words, that Parabrahmam, which is beyond time and space, sans traits, characteristics, form and shape. Saguna Brahmam is more mind friendly. The love and devotion for such a form of God is bhakti. Though this is Dvaitam, I say let it be. The power that is omnipotent and omniscient is also immanent in all iota of existence. Is it not so? Then he is very much present in the small icon of God that we pray to also. If he is to make us experience him, let him do so when he will. Whether he does so or not, still it is his job. Why should we bother about it? It is enough for us to be devoted. This happiness will do. With love, we will continue to be devoted with this wholesome clarity. In truth, let him be he or she. Let him be total completeness. Let him be traitless and the secondless one of Advaitam. So what? After all, we are not able to understand or comprehend that or he or she or thing. Such beauty, grace, love, and knowledge as we can comprehend are all from that source, fountainhead spring. So let us love that for that. Let him make himself apparent to us when he does. There is no action on our part towards that understanding. So let us lose ourselves in such devotion. That is what he says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter Shloka 55 of chapter 18. He says, the one who continues to be devoted to me gets to know me as I am, thereby sans separateness become me. I quote, Bhaktya mama bhijanati yavanyas chasmi tattatvatah tato mam tattvato jatva vishate tadan antaram. We can be devoted to him only till we are apart from him, not a part of him. Once we enter him and remain with no more separate identity, we become one. Such inalienable oneness is possible only when, by devotion, we get to know him as he is. He says in the words Tato Mam. Tata means then, latter, after, immediately, now. What we can do is only bhakti. Then latter, whatever is to happen, let it happen in its own time. You remain faithfully devoted. Then I will make you understand as to who or what I am and take you unto me sans separateness. In his assurance, twice he says Tatvata Tatvata, so as to emphasize that through bhakti, as the devotee comes to understand God's qualities and powers, the devotee imbibes his qualities and completely loses his identity, thus dissolving into divinity. Through devotion, if we come to understand him, it would mean that while going through that process, evidently, we do not understand him as he is tattvata, meaning as he is. It is only as a result of the process of devotion He enables us to understand Him. So, this means that we do not know or understand Him as it is Tattvata, right? Necessarily, you are bound to ask how to be devoted to something that we do not know or understand. Point to ponder now is that God is not totally unknown either to start with. Yes, it is also true that He is not fully or totally known or understood to start with. Let it be so. It does not matter. We start being devoted to God based on some qualities of His slightly known and understood. After total understanding, we become so absorbed that there is no scope for devotion as separate identity as a devotee vanishes. So, let him remain as God, not fully known or understood, so as to permit us to be devoted to him. To that extent, let him remain incomplete, apurnam, or not including us. Let us not think about a state when we are no more separate but one with him. How to think about something unthinkable? For the time being, it is enough that the unlimited totality of God be the repository of all the admirable qualities that we adore. Let Him be within our capability of comprehension and admiration to that extent. With Him, let us continue to be devoted and enjoy being a devotee. Let him remain a Bhakta Vatsala of easy approachability. To make us understand him and comprehend him is all his job. Why should we bother about it now? I accept that what we are doing or practicing bhakti, the object of our devotion, is only a limited aspect of that totality of which is God. What to do? There is no other method. The phrase Bhaktya Mam Abhijanti, meaning through devotion, the devotee gets to know me. Not just understanding, not just Janati, but Abhijanati, that is total understanding. Once that happens, devotee does not remain a devotee. That is to happen later. Now, let us keep thinking of God as something other than us. Let us remain happy in whatever satisfaction we receive in the process of that devotion. Even in scriptures on Advaita, it is said that Ishvara anugrabhat iva pumsam Advaita vasana, to mean that even the slightest aptitude for the concept of Advaita happens only by the grace of God. This would mean that God exists apart, considering the jiva as an entity other than himself, while granting distaste for Advaita. How can this happen otherwise if God remains in the bhava of complete Advaita? So the mystery deepens in the maya of this worldly life, in which not only are we as jiva thinking of ourselves as apart from God, but God is also making the same assumption. The jiva on his own is not clamoring after the concept of Advaita, but God creates the taste for Advaita in the jiva. Having kept himself apart, he instills the wish in the jiva not to be apart. Is this not the meaning? The moment there is a grantor of Advaita Jnana and a receiver of that Jnana, there are two entities, which is Dvaitam. Okay, let it be so. Till he sanctions that Advaita Jnana, we also can think of him as different from us and continue to be devotees. To grant us the Advaita Jnana, he stands apart. Even the inclination towards that Advaita is his creation. So, let him do whatever, whenever, and grant us the Anubhava. He instills the urge, and only he can fulfill that urge. After all, what he has started, he will complete it. That is his oneness. He have We have no role to play there. Ours is to be devoted to Him as the repository of all good virtues, power, beauty, grace, love, kindness, charm, and quality. We do not have to feel bad that by qualifying Him, we have degraded Him. Take careful note of what He says. Initially, I will be in the form as per your wishes, and then later I'll shine in my true reality. To shine in all his true glory is his job. We can't throw light on that literally. To try to do what we cannot is only an effort in futility. There is nothing other than the one, says Advaitam. Though there is Jivatma and Paramatma, that one Paramatma is life of all lives and the indwelling spirit as Antaryami in all life forms, says Visishtadvaitam. He is different and we are different. The two can never be the same, but he is the director and we are the directed, says Dvaitam. It is this last one, Dvaitam, within our comprehension and understanding. If we catch hold of what we can understand, then it is his job to enhance our capacity to comprehend and understand if need be. Then we will start enjoying him as life of life and the indwelling Antaryami. Then maybe we will go beyond being the experiencer and become the experienced. These are all to happen by His grace. What is within our capability is to do our duties as God's wish, that is, to be devoted to Him. If you say just be devoted, it does seem to be possible. Till there is work to be done, anger and hate are concomitant, but when we do our duties with our thoughts focused on God as an ocean of blessedness, automatically we become a form of graceful love. This by itself is a great satisfaction and fulfillment. If we cannot make our minds stand still and experience the truth of Advaita, let us remain in the level of Dvaita with God as different from us, but to whom we are devoted. That happiness is enough. Whether He makes it Visishtadvaitam and indwell in us in all His glory or grant us the Advaita Anubhava, that is of no concern to us, as it is all His lookout. Most importantly, it is this shariram or body with its limited capabilities and preoccupations that is the reason for this differentiation. If we stop at the state of Dvaitam without even thinking of God as the indwelling Antaryami, let us remain different as an embodied person only. Still, we have the option to be devoted to God, thinking of Him or her as an ocean of love and comprehension, love and compassion, and get that satisfaction and happiness. So we need not aspire or perspire for the total oneness of Advaitam or differentiated oneness of Vishwadvaitam, Visishtadvaitam. We can remain content with the duality state of Dvaitam. We have taken this body. We are this body only. Even with this, we are able to think of God. It is not so. Let it be. Why only this body? Even if we are born as a worm, does not matter as long as we are enabled to think of God with gratitude. It is enough. With such an attitude, we should learn to be content. Appar Peruman says, Puduvai Pirakkinum Unnadi in Manate Vazhivada Irukku Varam Tara Vendum. He says, O God, even if I were to be born as a worm, grant me that my mind may remain riveted on your feet, to be able to constantly and continuously think of God by itself is a unique pleasure. When that happiness is available, why bother? Why bother about this body, mind, and lack of jnana? Because of them. Appar was a great devotee of Shiva and it is but natural for him to have expressed such a sentiment. There is a parallel expression by the Parama Acharya of Advaita Jnana in Shivananda Lahari. He says, "Let me be born as a worm or a bull or even a mosquito. It makes no difference to me as long as my mind remains submerged in the flood of glorifying your feet. Naratvam Devatvam Nagavana Mrugatvam Masagata Pasutvam Kitatvam." Kitvam is warm. Kitatvam is what is referred by Appar as Puruvai Pirakkinum. Masagata is a mosquito. Not how the Sanskrit word Masagata and the English word mosquito match. Note. Also note how two different great minds thinking in two different languages mesh so beautifully about devotion to God. As long as we can remain devoted to God, it is immaterial as to what we are born as. Even if it is a human body, with it happily being a devotee, as long as we can be loving and kind towards all life forms, we do not have to pray for the termination of the cycle of repeated birth and death even. Whatever the body in which we are born, the unbroken devotion to God should continue as the connecting thread. She is Jnanambikai. She will give us the milk of Jnana. By action and devotion, she will wipe our minds clean. When clean, our minds will become spotless, blemishless surface of mirror that will reflect the brilliance of divinity. She will grant that on her own. We do not even have to pray for such and such a boon. We do not have to ask for heaven or Vaikuntham or Kailasham. Let her keep us anywhere. Somewhere let her grant us an opportunity to serve or grant us the awareness of herself as the indwelling Antaryami or make us realize our undifferentiated oneness with her. It is okay, whatever it may be. That state is unknown to us. The granting power is also someone else. All that we know is Dvaitam. Even that knowledge of Dvaitam is because of the fact that this mind of ours does not stop. The reasons for the mind's oscillations are desire, attachment, hate, fear, and sorrow. Our minds keep running from one or the other, such feelings and sentiments that it has become very dirty. First, what we need is cleansing of our minds and heart. For that, the only way is to happily do our duty with full devotion to God. If we try this, it will be very pleasureful. We will not even think of cleansing of our body, our minds and heart. We will be happily devoted. We will do our work lovingly and contentedly. Parashakti will bless on her own volition. We have no say in that. Once we are truly devoted, we will know not to express our will, let alone impose it. Her anugraha can be in the form of Dvaitam or Visishtadvaitam or Advaitam. Whatever it is, why bother our heads on that? Leaving it all in her very capable hands, let us continue to be devoted for the pleasure of it. I have been thinking on the following lines. Advaitam is the essential truth and reality. Yes, it is true that to experience Advaita Anubhava is something very special. That is why Jnana Marga has been thought of. But most of us are not able to progress at all in that path. So, do we have to keep on crying about it? Then I came to a clarity of thinking that there is no need to cry. We can rest content with karma and bhakti, which is within our grasp. That Parashakti, organizing and running the entire universe, knows when and how to grant us the Advaita Jnana if need be. So I shared these thoughts with you all. Third pathway. All work should be done in correct order. When any work is done haphazardly, problems arise. Justice or nyayam means the proper method. While moving on the road, if the order is to keep to the left, the order applies to all. Our elders have devised a proper procedure for all actions of ours. We must stick to that discipline unless the order is noticeably faulty. To reach God, they have evolved two methods of justiciable logic. One is baby monkey approach and the other is baby cat approach. In Sanskrit, monkey is marakatam and the cat is marjaram and baby is kishoram. So the approaches are known as markata kishora nyayam and marjara kishora nyayam. When a cat begets an offspring, till the baby cat becomes capable of mobility, the mother carries the baby by catching the baby at the scruff of its neck by its mouth. So do the tiger and other feline animals carry their young. They say that the house cat is an uncle of the tiger. As the story goes, the house cat taught the tiger the tricks of hunting, such as stealthily approaching, springing, and pouncing. But to save itself, it did not reveal all the secrets, it seems. It did not teach the tiger the method of climbing walls or trees. That aside, both tiger and the cat love their young ones. God has endowed all babies with the power of attraction. Since that is the only way the young one can survive, God the magician has given all babies such powerful and hold over the mother. To experience the effects of our karma, we need the body and the body has to be fed to grow. Even when we do not know all this, we can and do feel hunger which makes us feed. We have been given a tongue which knows taste, a nose which can smell food, and eyes to locate the food. All the equipments and their capabilities are so mutually complementary to enable growth and procreation, all tricks to experience the effects of our karma. Having endowed the babies with the power of attraction and the power to hold our attention, God the magician has deceived us into doing what he wants to do so. God's deception can only dupe the average common man. It will not be successful with the Jnani. In Siksha Shastra, the method of learning and pronunciation of Veda Aksharas is given. It says that while learning to chant the Vedas, the student should be so careful and correct in pronunciation as the tigress catches hold of the baby in her mouth while moving away from danger. Look at the beauty of it. The tigress would be catching hold of the newborn baby tiger by the scruff of the neck. She would be avoiding or evading other dangerous predators like hyena at great speed in the nick of the moment. She just cannot hurt the baby, nor can she let the small one drop to the ground by any chance. The cat in the village, too, does similarly. Extreme caution and care have to be exercised with firmness and delicateness. That is the care to be taken in Veda Ucharanam using the Marjara Kishora Nyaya, says Siksha Shastra. Similarly, out of two approaches to God, one is the cat's Marjara Kishora Nyaya. The devotee is likened to the baby cat. He has no will or effort of his own. He has totally surrendered to the ultimate. With love, reverence, and adoration, they would have completely entrusted themselves to God's care, totally accepting whatever happens. As the baby cat is wholly dependent on the mother, the devotee would be resting their hearts in the golden feet of the Master. Such devotion is known as Marchara Kishora Nyaya. The baby monkey's approach and the attitude is totally opposite to that of the baby cats. There is another set of devotees like that. Have you ever seen a mother monkey scurrying away from danger while her baby monkey is clinging onto her belly? While rushing from tree to tree, branch or whatever, the mother ape would have no time to even think about the baby. But the baby ape, despite its tender age, would be holding on to the mother's belly for life. God has given the newborn baby monkey such a powerful grip to hold on to the mother's belly. Come what may, God is supposed to have granted a boon to the baby monkey. Whatever you bite will be sugar like, and whatever you catch will be vice like. In Tamil, there is a phrase for a powerful grip as Koranguppidi. There are some devotees of this type who go by the Markata Kishora Nyaya. They will catch hold of God like that. They will not wait for God to grant them their wish. Even if he is going to discard me, I am not going to leave him. In their attitude, Manikya Vashagar tells Shiva, Chikkana Piditten, meaning I catch you as catch can. He called Shiva in Shiva Puranam Bhakti Valayil Paduvon, meaning one to fall in the net of devotion. The question arises as to whether God is catchable by the devotee or of his own volition falls in the devotee's net. If the devotee is bent on catching him, he has the time and inclination to fall in the devotee's net. Among Vaishnavas, there are two subdivisions known as Vadakalai and Tenkalai, based on two different approaches of theirs for surrendering to God. The Vadakalai Vaishnavas, who are followers of Sri Vedanta Deshikan, go by Marakata Kishora Nyaya, say that we as devotees should surrender to God with the never giving Lokacharya adopt the Marjara Kishora Nyaya, by which the devotee simply surrenders without a care in the world, leaving everything in God's hands. Nowadays, our awareness of their differences is thought to be only in the way they apply the namam on their foreheads. If the namam looks like the English letter U, it is Vadakalai, and if namam looks like the English letter Y, more like a U on one leg, it is Tenkalai. In fact, the difference lies in their approach to the principle of surrender and not in the shape of the namam they wear on their forehead, which is only an outer indication of difference. Sharanagati Tattvam, or the surrender principle, is called Prapati. In the end of Gita, Sri Krishna Bhagavan says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. That is like a Taraka Mantram for the principle of surrender. When Vibhishana surrendered to Sri Ramachandra Murthy just before crossing of the ocean in Ramayana, Rama states that it is my lifetime assurance and duty to protect anyone who surrenders to me, as given in the 33rd shloka of the 18th sarga in Yuddha Kandam of Valmiki Ramayanam. Sakradeva Prapannaya Tavasmiti cha yachate Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyo Dadamyetat Vratam Mama. Vaishnavas consider both Gita and Ramayana as Sharanagati Shastras. Let Tattvas and Siddhantas be whatever. How are we in practical life? Are we able to accept our own life's twists and turns as God's will? Do we have such devotion and dispassion? No. Alternately, do we sincerely and seriously make an effort to steadfastly catch hold of God? This also we are incapable of. Good or bad, I do not know anything. It is all her lookout. We are not able to have this attitude of the baby cat either. I have to get mother's protection. So, whatever happened, I am not going to let go of her. Neither do we have this firm conviction of the baby monkey. Neither of the approaches seems to be suitable for us. We seem to lack maturity both ways. Then what are we to do? Is there a third path? Is there someone who can guide us? Yes, such a person is there. He is Adi Shankara Bhagavat Padar. Your immediate response is like to be on the following lines. Both Sharanagati routes are part of Bhakti Margas. This bhakti itself seems to be unreachable and beyond our comprehension. Adi Shankara, after all, is a Jnana Marga person. He is likely to simply say, forget about Bhakta and Bhagwan. Simply be Brahman. We can never do that, is it not so? Yes, Adi Shankara is the staunch propounder of the path of Jnana, but he did not prescribe Jnana Marga as a panacea for all persons, always and every time. He has guided us in various ways depending on our starting points and maturity and development. Like even the footpath trails lead to highways, he has suggested routes to the Jnana Marg, even in Bhakti Marg, other than Markata Kishoram and Marjara Kishoram. He has suggested a third path for people like us in Shivananda Lahari. Here he is comparing our minds to the behavior of a monkey only. It is behaving like a monkey only most of the time, except in tightly catching hold of the mother, that is God. In all other respects, this mind is a monkey. So he is telling God, please come as a monkey tamer. Very rarely this mind of ours behaves. Its vacillations are infinite. Such a monkey should better be under the control of an expert tamer. Both will benefit. The tamer will be gainfully employed and the monkey will be on a tight leash. He says, after all, you are roaming as a mendicant, holding an inverted skull bone for a begging bowl. If you have a monkey in tow, you will also get plenty of alms and the monkey will also remain under control in your care. The best monkey for you is your mind, is my mind. Though it is a baby monkey, it has not identified you as the mother and caught hold of you. Had my mind been a baby cat, at least you would have taken care of it on your own. But this mind of mine is an uncontrollable monkey. You are also not a mother cat, but a mendicant. Instead of being simply a beggar, you will also get more respect as an entertainer artist. This mischievous monkey will make many attempts to escape from you. Tie it up by the leash of love and take it away. We ask God to give us wealth, health, fame, name, progeny, and what not. In fact, we should be approaching God for help in controlling this vacillating mind of ours. Mind will make us do many unnecessary things. The eyes see things not to be seen. Ears hear things not worthy of hearing. The tongue is ever hanging out, salivating for ever new tastes. The reason for all this is the mind's aspiration for ever novel sensations. But this mind of ours can and will come around to mending of ways if it gets hold of the most delectable of all ideas. A child takes a chocolate lovingly. If it gets Cadbury's gems, it may throw away the chocolate. Similarly, the most delectable of all ideas is God Himself. So, God, please take away this monkey mind of mine, tied on a leash of love. Kapalin Bhikshomi Brudaya Kapim Atyanta Chapalam Drudam Bhaktya Bantva Shiva Bhavat Adinam Kuru Vibho. Om Shri Mahaperiva Sharanam.